Welcome, Poggers, to another episode of the Pog State, and the very first one for the LCK of 2026. I hope you didn't miss us too terribly much while we were away. Of course, we had First Stand, there was the LCK Cup concluding, and all that sort of stuff, but now we are back for the real deal. And joining me for it is Orcs, Wolf, and Dagon, and a banana. We were thinking about doing a recap and stuff like that of what happened in the LCK Cup and First Stand. We'd prefer not to do that.
Old news.
Yeah, old news, not really required.
Nothing happened.
We're just happily the third best region. Okay?
Diablo, double pentakill.
I thought we were doing a quick touch on First Stand. I thought we only axed LCK Cup.
Okay, Brendan, Sheet Police.
You said double pentakill.
Valdez,
We touched
Harrison.
Just keep munching on your banana.
Yeah, keep talking to your banana. Okay. All right. So, how did we all enjoy our off season? We can do a little bit of a converse about that one. Orcs, you and I have been spending it mostly jet lagged.
Yeah.
I guess.
That was a long 2 flights.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was only 2. You guys got direct flights?
No. So it was 4 flights, I guess.
Ugh.
Yeah, it was like 2 there, 2 back. It was like 30 hours, 35 hours total travel.
It is literally the other side of the planet.
Yeah.
We need to drill to get there. That would be better.
That would have been quicker. Maybe that would have helped the teams if they could have taken...
Yeah, exactly. Theoretically, you just fall down a hole, right?
Yeah. They did kind of fall down a hole.
So if you made one of those Pac-Man exits, you guys would just appear in Brazil.
Yeah. Well, the Mario eggs just do dugger, and then just like we appear back in Korea. That would be
Yeah.
perfect. Yeah.
I think the manner in which it happened was pretty shocking, but I kind of think that it was due that another region toppled the LCK and international. It's been a long time since the LCK's lost it, but I feel like there's been a lot of close encounters, right? Like we think about, last year AL against T1 at Worlds, AL at MSI, like the BLG T1 series and finals. I think it's kind of testament to the LCK teams that we had such a long run undefeated. But obviously the manner in which this happened, the double 3-0 was a little...
I think
By a
if you
single
get-
team that didn't win the tournament.
That
If you're
wasn't
gonna-
the LPL.
Yeah.
If you're gonna win, if you're gonna lose a tournament though, it's the one to lose. Honestly, throw that one away and then get it sorted out.
Are you
for the
saying
other two.
First Stand is less important than other 2 international events?
Yeah. I'm
Yeah,
also
same.
So if we have
I
to
wouldn't
just
say
quickly-
that, right? I wouldn't say that if LCK Cup stats were relevant in the LCK.
Oh,
I just want
thought you were gonna say
quickly.
you wouldn't say that if
if
we
you're gonna
won.
make this statement, Max,
I didn't say it last year.
I would like you to, on record, rank the 3 international tournaments. We have Worlds, MSI, First Stand. This might be tricky. This might be difficult. Can you rank them top to bottom?
Well, MSI was the first international that I did, so it's probably my favorite. So I'd say MSI first, and
okay.
then Worlds, and then EWC, and then ASI, and then First Stand.
It is
probably.
pretty cool that any team could go to MSI since it's an invitational tournament. Anyone could be invited. That's what's special about it to me.
Yeah, I'm just being facetious because the First Stand did not go very well for us, and it was kind of horrible. And you and I had to be there while we watched Genji crash and burn.
Also, why is it called
God.
First Stand? Because we had that last year. Isn't it Second Stand at this
Well, it
point?
was first fall over and die in my experience. That's what I saw.
Yeah.
Okay, that's enough. We weren't going to recap, and we did. It's just horrible. But now we get to talk about a really weird and wonderful first week of LCK for 2026. And gentlemen, we are going to be doing our overreactions. As you guys might be used to, every year we do tend to enter the LCK season and try and figure out where our teams are going to be by the end of it. And try to work out who's going into the Legend and the Rise group. The Rise group obviously is the most exciting, so the bottom 5 teams on our rankings are probably going to be the most important. We have to bear that in mind.
And I think KT are just the best team in the world.
That might be the case. They got rid of that deadweight bottom lane. And
You know, KT
they
did
got
not
the-
lose
the-
to G2 this year. Have
That's
not dropped a
true.
single game.
That's true.
And
They
actually, you know what? They haven't lost to BLG either.
Wow. That's impressive.
And they have beaten
Well,
the
And
reigning
they-
world champions.
Yeah, they beat the defending world champions as well as Genji, who had an insane record in LCK Cup.
The
and
defending
Cup
LCK
champions.
Cup champions?
Yeah.
There you go.
They were also just in the finals of Worlds.
the MSI champions, the EWC champion. They just beat all the champions.
And they're actually the only LCK team to win a Game 3 in the LCK season this year.
And you know what? They're not even
Whoa.
first place in the LCK after week 1.
Wow.
Wow.
These are so many facts thrown out there, and they're all true. I just verified it.
Wow, you got an earpiece in? Well,
Yeah.
we've really upped the budget.
It's one of those subtle, the Marvel ones where they just touch their face and
Yeah,
they just
yeah,
talk
Kind
to
of
each
like
other.
the one that Invincible has.
Yeah.
It's like a bone conducting one that's actually behind your ear over here. That's why you
Yeah.
can't see it, guys.
That explains it.
Yeah, that's what it is. That's what it's all about. There was also the whole bro beating, or Hanjin Breon, sorry, name changes. We've got a few name changes, as it's going to be hard for
They really should have
mostly
put
me
those on the
to
sheet.
figure out how to do it.
They really should have included them somewhere. on the
included
sheet.
them on the sheet in bold letters at the top. Maybe that would have been a good idea. Oh, what's this? Kiwoom DRX or Kiwoom is going to be what we're going to have to say. I didn't mess that one up yet. I only messed up the bros, which are now Hanjin Breon or Hanjin. Or the
Bigger
bros.
font next time, I think. Maybe
We did get.
Yeah, Zombie.
we did actually get permission to use the bros.
We did.
occasionally.
Yeah.
You know, as
Still
long
could do
as
that.
we Hanjin Breon most of the time,
Yeah.
we can say bros. And so I took that as that's all you need to say. And so in their first match, that's all I said throughout. Most
I'm
of
just
it.
looking forward to Super Hanjin Bros. And then
Whoa.
Super Hanjin Bros World. And
Hanjin Bros.
Super Hanjin Bros
Galaxy.
64.
Oh, 64. Yeah, you're right.
Super Hanjin Bros. Odyssey was a
Super
banger.
Hanjin Bros. Kart.
Super Hanjin Bros Sunshine is my favorite, and we're coming up on summer, and so that's really relevant.
I hope
Hanjin
they
Bros.
eventually
Double
feature
Dash?
Fox McCloud in the Super
not
Hanjin
Double
Bros
Dash.
Galaxy movie.
I have not contributed to this episode. Keep going.
Yep,
That's kind of your job, though.
Yeah.
Just to eat a
your
banana.
job is to eat a banana, talk to it.
Honestly, all things considered, you've been kind of slacking on that banana. Like, how long have you had it? It doesn't take that long to eat a banana.
It's gonna go brown and stuff.
What is the average time to eat a banana for an adult male?
5 minutes.
So we've managed.
5 minutes? Are you
5
joking?
minutes.
5 minutes to eat a
it
banana.
You're way. You're by the way. You're way over 5 minutes, but
But even then, like, you think someone goes
I think
there?
it's
and
probably
That's
like
because he was
90
like,
seconds.
we have a
90
second
seconds.
to like check
I
in
think
with everyone.
maybe, yeah.
We were in Brazil. Now let's talk about week 1. I was like, oh, Wolf's going to talk about, how life's been. Being
Oh
a
yeah,
dad.
we haven't done that yet.
5 minutes to eat a banana, Digon. Like, actually logically think about that. If you're a normal person, do you think you go one little bite and just
Okay, when
stand
my
there?
daughter eats, so my daughter is 9 months old.
Are you comparing my eating
You know,
habits with your
the banana has to be cut very small pieces, or basically smashed and pureed, and so that she could eat it through a spoon.
This is really good
She
because
can
this
do a
is Wolf
banana-
talking about what he did.
Yes.
Yeah, she can do it under 5 minutes, actually. And when I say more, she goes like this and continues. Okay.
You know what? You know what, Wolf?
Somebody has said the average person takes 1 to 2 minutes.
But also, how do they determine that? Do they time people eating the bananas?
Yeah,
no one's timed me eating a banana,
You
I've
don't know
not-
that. You don't know that, man. They're monitoring everything.
I hope.
Okay.
All I can say is I hope this is not Digon's PB.
He like eats a little bit, and then he just like wraps it all up, puts it down, and then like 30 seconds later he picks it up again. Like, come on, man. You're really milking this.
Speaking of Dagon, what did you get up to in the time off?
to talk about my parents coming to visit Korea. It was great. Did engagement photos with my fiance. We did the traditional garb.
Oh, cute.
That was it. That's all I wanted to say. I'll go back to eating the banana now. I'll finish the banana for Dan.
Eating the banana was always fine. It was the speaking to it that I didn't like.
That's fair.
Yeah. So we did, start off a little bit of having a conversation about the LCK. Then I realized I very rudely didn't allow Wolf or Dagon to talk about their time. Wolf only got to talk about his daughter eating bananas, but I think that's about all he really needs to do.
Yeah, I was in Hong Kong, but that wasn't really the off season. But I haven't been on a POG stand since then. It was
Hey, that's
cool.
a good point.
There were a lot of fans there. It was basically whenever Valdez and I went to the bathroom or to like go get a snack or get water, like we were hounded by people, which was really quite unique because obviously here in the LCK we have mostly Korean fans, and we were dealing with global fans right in Hong Kong. So everyone was super excited to meet us. A lot of people were really sad you guys weren't there. We're asking for you guys as well. We took hundreds of photos and everyone was super welcoming. And we had a lot of people who were like, wish T1 wasn't here, but I love the LCK more than I love T1, like, which, it's kind of a shocking statement for some
pretty cool.
people. But
Yep.
I think everyone was super down to just enjoy high-level LCK. They were a little bit disappointed with the results, but it was really, really fun. And I think that the camera shots, while there were some really good ones, didn't actually even really do justice what the atmosphere was like. It was pretty
And it was
awesome.
massive. It was mega packed as well. Like the amount of people that were in that venue were just kind of astounding.
It looked sick. And I think for the LCK fans who are a bit disappointed by the 3-0s, at least they didn't have to wait long for... oh, no, never mind. There were more just around the corner.
Hey, at least, they were disappointed in the 3-0, but they didn't know how disappointed they could really be.
Yeah.
We had
in
quite a bit of
3-0.
2-0s this week as well.
Yeah, we did definitely not have that many long days. So let's bring it back to the LCK momentarily and have a chat about teams that aren't KT. Obviously, KT are the talk of the town at the moment, trying to work out where to put them as far as your prediction rankings are concerned. But the thing that's crazy is they've already got rid of two of the most difficult competition in the league. So even if they do crash and burn, even a crashing and burning KT, I think, have a chance against quite a few of the teams that we have here today.
Also, so we didn't have many format changes since last season, but one format change we had is that Legend and Rise group is double round robin instead of triple. So the weighting of that period is even smaller than it was last time. So that means wherever you expect teams to end up going into Road to MSI, things aren't going to shift that much. Because things didn't shift that much last time, Legend and Rise. There's even less room for them to shift this time when you think about it. So I feel like if you've already gotten off to a good start against like Gen G T1 now, it puts you in a really good position.
Yeah.
GG, yeah. KT, all first, all pro team.
I think,
it
yeah.
went really well for them last time.
Yeah, I think 100% confidence. You know what? Telecom team winning worlds. I guess that's the consistent theme, not
At
specifically
least going to the finals.
T1.
Yep.
Yeah.
We had
yeah.
a fair bit of telecom finals. That is definitely a thing that
I'm
we
glad
had.
we could lock it in already and agree on that. So,
I'm not going to put them first.
I think the surprising thing in this week one is that for LCK Cup, the theme was, Gen G and B&K were the squads that didn't change their rosters, so they were able to build up the synergy faster. Coming back, I did luckily pick Bro. That was a lucky pick against B&K Fearx, but I had a feeling that
Finally
they would have...
admits it. God.
I would have they would have the overseas kind of hangover, right? A lot of teams have that after they go to an international event. But it's surprising to see which teams just either had it together or looked good in losses. Like, all eyes were on Hanwha Life Esports, and they had the most time out of all teams to prepare and get the synergy together. And in their win against Bro, they didn't look convincing. And in their loss to T1, they looked the same as LCK Cup. Get an early game lead, because they can follow that plan. And then later on, it just chunks away. And then Delight and Kanavi are diving, trying to make stuff happen. And it just leads to it snowballing in the opposite direction. So to see KT on the top here with Perfect being the guy, like that to me is... It's fascinating against the two toughest teams, as you said. Like, that is such a big talking point. I think it's awesome for them.
I think Perfect was just kind of outstanding. We have seen him have these weeks, though. Like, he's sort of like a form type player where it sort of ebbs and flows. And it was doing a lot of ebbing, through a lot of his career. But, like, the LCK Cup was another example of that, where it wasn't necessarily working out.
Perfect is, I think I put it this way earlier this week, like 10% of the time he's the best top player in the LCK.
Yeah.
And the other 90%, you get what you get.
I think that was frustrating, though. So it's weird to trust it. At what point do we trust it?
No, you can't trust it. That's the problem.
Okay.
the thing with
That's why he's on the
Perfect
right team.
is it's clear that KT are hoping to get, they're hoping to get that high level from him, but like he's always been really high ranked in solo queue. I know like there's lots of players who've been really high ranked in solo queue. Bulldog was an example.
Bromer.
Yeah. But I'm assuming that like he must be popping off in scrims if KT are like, we're sticking with this guy, like we're committing to this. And it just feels like, we're getting glimpses. Like if he can maintain this level, it'd be great. But I think consistency is a struggle for so many players in our league who aren't in the top teams. It feels like we're so used to teams like Gen G typically having these big, long, consistent undefeated streaks. But then you get like these glimpses where we can say, oh yeah, it's this player's year, but then it's actually just a
Closer, Doodoo, Clear,
Vikla.
Vikla,
Vikla's
Duckdom.
year.
Like
Vikla's year was very short. It was a short year,
yeah.
unfortunately. That didn't quite work out. We need to sort of address some of these other teams, though, because T1 bounced back pretty effectively after their loss against KT. I think that was pretty cataclysmic what happened in that first telecom war. I think that, it was pretty unanimous as far as the vote against KT. I think they had back-to-back unanimous votes against them this week. Yep. But that one especially was, in my opinion, the most impressive because T1 and KT both had basically the same amount of time to go back and sort of refuel the engine. I think T1 also arguably upgraded the roster moving from last year to this year with Pays coming in. I think that upgrade is a weird way to describe it, but I felt like Pays is kind of the play style that was going to suit this team. And it didn't work against KT. And, maybe
It didn't work against D plus in the LCK Cup either, It felt like we saw more of the same problems with T1 I have with Genji at first stand that I have with BNK at first stand. It's just really weird ego drafting where it's like, I'm good at this, I'm going to do this. And even when T1 won their last series, they were like, we'll just pick Nar and Lee Sin and almost lose the game, but then it's fine because Kanavi is running at the turret.
Yeah.
That's what just happened, though, now, just today.
Yeah, there was another Nar Lee Sin draft.
And it worked somehow. Nongshim made it happen. I don't know what was going on there. Of course, Sponge had, an absolute day out, so maybe that's maybe ego drafting when you also have the ego game, that works, but... There's been some strange decisions in draft.
I think for a lot of our teams, we've had Fearless around for a while now, and I think the expectation was over time drafting would get better with Fearless, but I still just see some glaring issues with these approaches that the teams are having. And even just this week, we've had situations where it's a team gets Rise, and then the second rotation of bans come through, and then they get Pantheon. And I'm why is that a thing? And it's not there is definitely times where draft is subjective or it all comes through together at the last moment. And drafting is hard. It's not easy and super straightforward. And
it's also harder than we expect as well because we look at it as this champion good here, but you need also the player to say, I'm happy to play said champion.
sure.
And you got 30 seconds to make the decision. You have to have the conversation, make the decision, make them feel good.
But sometimes I feel there's just really common pitfalls, and I'm
like picking a Nautilus early in the draft.
Yeah, and it's just there was no way I saw that really working out, and it's I don't know what's going on behind the scenes with these teams. We don't know the full answers. We don't know how scrims have been going, but I'm did that just never get punished, or did you guys just never really think about it too carefully, or did you just hope they wouldn't pull out all these slam dunks that deal with that? And we get these picks that are permaban because they're super OP. Rumble is a good example. And they're like, you know what? Let's just let it open. Maybe Keen doesn't play it anymore. He does.
He does.
He does.
Yeah.
To the T1 KT series, I just boiled it down to the surprise pick by Perfect forced Owner to play on the top side of the map and kind of cover up for Doran. And then the bot lane got pushed in because of the draft. It was the ego draft with the Anivia. And then in game 2, they're like, okay, we're going to play a little bit more aggressive. And then BDD went bot, forced a flash out of Keria, chunked him out of lane. There goes your aggressive lane. That felt like 2 just quick decisions on top of the fact that Tom admitted later on, Coach Tom admitted later on that their priority on Rise, interim coach wrong, their priority on Rise was incorrect. That to me was that first series. It was some really good individual play by Perfect, good drafting, bad drafting on the opposite side, and an early game 2 play as well that kind of just set him behind. And that I don't want to overreact to T1 kind of having a 0-2 game against KT because I think it was just good by KT.
I think it's good by KT. I think also T1 did obviously, again, HLE didn't put as much resistance, but they adjusted when it came to that series. But I think also, he admitted, they had a bit of a wrong read. I personally, we've always
How
been
could
saying...
you have it? Yeah.
No, I don't think that was one of the more egregious examples I've seen.
Correct.
Sometimes, you end up in... there are draft pitfalls that you just, you don't see them coming. The examples I'm talking about are more just the ones I'm talking about where you get to a point and they pick something or they ban something and you're like...
They were never going to play that there. What are you doing? Yeah.
Yeah, or, oh, you're picking this? Or, oh, you left this open? And I just think that's been happening a lot, And with Fearless, it's really testing teams' ability to innovate, to draft. And, we've just come back off an international tournament where it felt like we were outclassed in that regard.
Yeah, Broken Blade pulls out the Shen top, and it looks incredibly strong. Looks really good. and then no one has played it even a single time in week 1 of LCK, when there were several times where I thought it was actually a really good angle for it, like, because nobody plays Shen Topham and it's just too hard to like learn. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe they haven't translated that one Shen OTP on YouTube yet. He's got some banger videos though. I'm not gonna lie. He's just really easy to watch. I don't remember what his name is, but
What region
there's
is he
a shout
from?
out. I think he might be European.
There you go.
See, nailed it.
It's Broken Blade Smurf.
Yeah, it's not. I can guarantee that. He just only plays Shen in every single matchup with any item build and mostly mixes it up so that he can get more content out of it. But man, it's just fun watching him play. So maybe that's the thing that we need to do is get a lot of these things transcribed so that our Korean players can learn how to do some weird stuff. But I also think that like, what does this mean for what else is actually possible, right? Because our meta really does get kind of locked in, and then players have this pool of champions that they need to build mastery on, so they're not practicing these fringe picks that could actually be really strong, right? Like, I just think it's kind of fascinating to think that maybe there's a bunch of other, because there's so many champions in the game. Like, what if, Rengar is actually fine at the moment? Like, that dude did come over to Korea and just kind of stomp everyone playing Rengar every single game.
I miss the days when I could just go to LS's Twitter feed to find out what LCK players weren't playing that were actually really strong.
Dude, he came back. He did a 19-hour stream.
Wow.
He's back again. So
He just can't do a short one.
No, he literally went over everything that ever happened in all of every patch ever in the LoL wiki.
So, Wolf, you can check it out next time you have 19 consecutive hours free.
I've tried
you do that.
trying to get like 1 hour free.
Why don't you just have like one earbud in and like half listen while you're dadding?
Fearless always felt like, back on topic, Fearless always felt like it was going to be kind of like, we talked about this when it first came out. We were like, this is probably not good for LCK because we don't do a lot of flexibility. We kind of iterate. We play the same thing. Watch these drafts. I mean, there's been times where we're on the cast, or I was literally talking to Degon about this yesterday, where I was just like, oh, it's like that Squidward meme, like, daring, aren't we? Like, oh, Pantheon, Jarvan after Rise. Like,
Ooh.
the only engaged left is Nautilus. There's nothing else they could play. It would just definitely be Nautilus here.
So I mean, you guys are going to give it to me, I know. But
We always do.
my boy, Namgung, he tried. He tried in game 1 with the Pike. They did the Mel Pike thing, which he got the early lead, but it just didn't translate to anything. And then in the second series, he played the Elise. The Elise led them to
Namgung
getting
was
the early lead.
amazing.
He had his best week as a pro, and I think was integral to Bro getting their first series win of 2026, including the LCK Cup, after being a player that was very focused on. And it was because they were willing to take risks in the draft, which they did both in first series and second series. So I like that. And part of me wonders, hopes, dreams of a Bro being able to do that and find success, but knowing that they're going to get punished by better teams that can really
I'll let you
prevent the
have that.
snowball.
I'll let you have that. I
Yeah.
think that's a good read.
It feels like the support meta we have at the moment is pretty cool. There's a lot of picks, and actually we have a mix. It's actually really rare. I can't remember the last time we've had this, where you have mages engage, like melee engagers and enchanters all being in the meta. It's been such a long time since that's been a thing.
Yeah.
I actually want to commend the Riot Balance team for that, because it feels like that is the hardest one to actually balance.
Yeah.
Is to allow all of it to exist at the same time.
And I think it's really, you give your example there of Namgoon, but also like Lahans has been looking really good.
He brought up the Neve first.
Yeah, and he's a player who I think is always willing and keen to bring out these more fringe, more out of the meta picks, but I guess they are part of the meta now. But I think
I remember it differently. I remember Carrier played.
Sorry,
it
he
first.
brought out the interview first. To success, to success, to success. I was like, oh, I gotta fix this.
First win. Yeah, first win counts.
I think we're seeing a lot of value in teams who can sort of leverage the power in their support pool and get advantages in the 2v2 matchup. And I think some teams are struggling when their supports are a bit more rigid. And for a long time, the meta was just, oh, so do you want Nautilus or Leona?
Or Rel.
Maybe Rel, yeah. Alistair, okay.
They picked Rel. Oh, we gotta get Alistair here.
Yeah, that's all. Oh, I remember going into that Worlds where I was like, oh my god, they got Renata. I have to pick Alistair into it. Oh, it's so terrible. And then it was like, credit to him, but Carrier's like, I could not pick a melee champion. Wins wills. But it feels like so many supports came up and their careers were like defined by that meta where it was like, okay, how good are you at Rel? How good are you at Alistair? And
I mean, even going further back, how good are you at Thresh, right? Like,
yeah, and
totally get that.
I feel like now we're seeing a lot more like as a support player, you have to have a much bigger range of picks. Bard, you can't ignore Bard anymore. For a time, it was like, guys, Carrier is sick of Bard, we'll just ban it. But it's like, now it's sort of been diversified across the whole league. Like a lot of players are picking up Bard and realizing this is something they have to have in their pool. Nico as well. There's so many picks that are difficult in the support role. Like these are hard to execute picks, and you have to sort of bring them into your pool because you can't just ban them all.
And it's also a completely different playstyle as well. Like, I think we're seeing sort of like a switch up of the tier list when it comes to our support players as well. Like after Delight being so incredibly good for such a long time, playing almost exclusively Engage, you now have him taking a backseat to players like Kellen, who are always so good at playing Enchanters, and then found himself in a meta where he had to play only Alistair, Nautilus, and these sort of things where it wasn't quite working out. Since then, his Alistair has improved, things like that. But he also then gets to do the things that he was so good at in the past and can, utilize having an incredibly young and talented AD carry alongside him. Like, I think that there are, like, it's kind of cool to see the ebb and flow and the changes based on the game and the performance of our players in like the aspects that they are really good at. So
Yeah.
I think it's kind of cool.
And short sample size, but feel good story of the week for me is effort, right? Because he's another guy who he's had a lot of experience, and it's like, okay, we might need you to play a bunch of different things. And we look at who we got on our roster right now. We have Ghost, who's still learning the role, has good mechanics, but he seems Engage happy. Palu only knows how to play Nautilus. That's
And
about it.
Effort used to literally be, I can only play Nautilus. If you look at his numbers, Nautilus is most played by like a gajillion.
Yeah.
Which is why teams literally just started the series being like, I'm banning Nautilus against him, by the way. And like he just has shown that he's not that guy anymore, which is a shock to me. When I found out that Effort was playing, I was like, KT is gigadoomed. Like I was like, I was ready to triple down on. Like before we started the season, I was like, Ghost and Palu ain't it. And then when they were like, Effort is coming in. Like when I saw Ghost was in
Dude,
town,
I had
Palu.
like the black and white screen with like the drips coming down of like the Snowflower sub in. Like that's what I had. I was
I
like,
just-
it is more
I-
than destroyed.
I
Like,
literally even just went, like, I tripled down on it. Then when I was casting that series with you, I was like, Effort peaked a long time ago. This just isn't going to be it. And then, like, we were all pleasantly surprised and shocked. And I don't know, unless I had watched Challengers a little bit more diligently, I suppose maybe I would have had a different read on it. But
no, you wouldn't.
it was such a crazy shock. And he didn't even play, like, insanely well, but he played a different set of champions than Palu was capable
But also,
of
he
playing.
knew how to control
Yes.
these players that weren't
Yes.
able to find like cohesion prior to that. Like, I
They
think
showed
that was
so
the
much
biggest
restraint.
issue.
It was
Yeah.
like, if it's Palu, he's engaging right there, and there's no vision behind where he sees here. Effort was like, we're backing up.
Yeah.
We're backing up.
I mean,
here. It was
Ghost
cool.
spent half the time trying to control a lane and dying. Like that's what he was doing the majority of his time
also
as
think
well.
if
Which
we-
is like you say, he's still mechanically okay, but it's just not quite working out elsewise.
To me, I think so much of KT comes on the back of Cuz and his role he can perform. I think if KT looked bad,
And
Cuz
Cousin
looks
Effort
really bad.
played together for a long time.
100%. Like they had that pre-built synergy. He said on the interview with us that like Cuz really helped bring him into the fold of the team, and he appreciated that. But like we think back to last year when Peter first came onto the roster. Prior to Peter coming on, KT looked bad. Like I think Cuz really needs a support that he can work with and rely on, and I think we kind of saw this again this year. And that like there are some players who are maybe more disconnected from their supports or can like make any support work. But I think Cuz needs that backup, and Effort is that backup that he's found.
Yeah, I think there's something that's clicked, and it's kind of crazy that it's Effort because Effort has been slotted into so many different teams over the years, largely in Challenger over the last few, right? Because obviously he started off on SKT at the time, came in after Marta, and really it was not quite what they wanted to see.
It was the struggle times for T1.
It definitely was. It was the dark ages, you could say, and Effort's I think reputation really took a hit for the fact that he came in after that 2019 roster. I'm pretty sure this was sort of the timeline. And that 2019 roster was amazing until it failed. And then they did some sort of restructuring, and it didn't look great after that either. So it's tough times. Unless it was before. Was he playing in 2018?
I want to say it was 2018.
I think it was 18.
But he
Aha,
then
so it
he's
was
played
before
for
that.
5 organizations.
He went to-
So he got
also
replaced
Sandbox.
by Mata, and then everything was okay again.
he got completely owned at Sandbox. We were
Yep.
like, and then he just continued to be around. Like he went to Bro after that.
Yeah, he was on Bro, yeah.
And-
No, there's a stop it.
I went to Hanwha for a second, right? It was on that bad Hanwha roster with Karis and was it Hannah Effort? I think it was Hannah Effort on that roster.
I thought it was Nongshim. I think he went to Nong. Oh wait, yeah, I think it was Nongshim.
He might have-
I did look
he
at
might-
it more recently, and I don't
close to-
remember.
Why don't we
I think it was
narrow it down?
2022?
Which teams did he not go to? Maybe that's easier.
D plus DRX,
Yeah.
the blue teams.
He wasn't on Gen G.
He wasn't on
He didn't go to
Afrika,
Afrika?
Kwangdong,
Yeah.
or
Yeah, he
GTN
really
on
didn't.
Moto.
Wasn't
he
on-
hates the blue teams.
Wasn't on G2 either. I don't think he played for TSM.
Okay,
I'm
there we
pretty
go.
sure.
But he's played
we-
for Alpha League.
He's correct.
Yeah.
I mean, he didn't play on D plus either. D plus is kind of bluish, you know.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
had
yeah.
the blue thing going on.
But yeah, so I got that one mixed up. He was there before Mata, and then he hung around for a little bit. I think subbed in a couple of times when there was sort of things got a bit messed up, and then he left T1, and then it
Anyway,
was
the
all
point
kinda
is like
downhill
the
from
guy,
there.
the guy. We were like, there's
But he did just
no
come
way.
off a break as well,
Yeah.
so he wasn't even playing prior to this for what was it, about a year, something like that?
So he signed. No, he was signed with.
Because he said in his interview that he took a break for a year.
I think he took but not like the most recent year. I think he took a
Yeah.
break in like 24.
Yeah, because I think it was. I think it was
okay.
the Bro roster. It was the Bro roster where he took the break after he got benched
Demoted,
for Palu.
yeah.
He got
Yeah.
benched for Palu, and then he moved to KT Challengers last November. So he's been there for at least a little the LCK Cup run
Yeah, got it. Okay.
when they were still trying to figure out 2 other supports on their roster. So
Anyway, my thing with this is that I guess anything could change, right? Like Ghost could come back from his little challenger stint and suddenly be way better, right? But
Well, I mean,
who
that's
knows?
probably what they're trying to do, is trying to work out exactly who fits the best. But right now, after taking down T1 and Gen G, I think that's bought effort some time. Let's just say that.
absolutely.
I mean, I think we've seen other examples of players really turning it around. I think Vikla was a great example earlier this year, but the great big question is like, can you maintain it, right?
Yeah.
Which also Vikla was an example where he struggled to maintain that turnaround of form. So I hope he does, right?
I mean, Perfect is another example. That's why KT is so incredibly volatile. Well,
KT?
I mean,
Volatile?
yeah,
Wow.
the name of
New,
the team
interesting.
is also why, but also Perfect as well. There's just an amount of volatility. Cuz and BDD are pretty good most of the
aiming,
time. But
never worried about his position in the game. Like when he's ahead, you're just like.
I mean,
he'll get it
aiming
done
is-
If
every
he's on
time.
Smolder and there's a Blitzcrank on the enemy team, I know he's flashing that grab at 35
I
minutes.
do feel like
Even if
aiming
his,
is
his
always
mid-later
the
game
same,
swingers.
though. Isn't aiming always the same? Like, he's always ready to throw the game.
You know
Like,
what? Actually, that's true. Aiming is consistent.
he is consistent.
He just never changes.
Yeah.
He's just the same player. He has his weaknesses, but you know what you got with aiming.
Yeah, he's very consistent. So he's like a weapon that you have to manage.
You have to wield.
Exactly. And maybe that's why they needed effort, who was very, like, an absolute veteran voice, and he's maybe got, like, the strength to wield the weapon a little bit better, because there's a little bit of no-braining that aiming does do on the Rift a little bit. There was a dash that he had on Yunara straight into some rocks and immediately had to flash to avoid death. That sort of stands out in my mind.
There's
against
been a few
T1.
of those Yunara moments.
Yeah.
just
And
some-
Ezreal moments.
There's just some
Oh,
80
dear.
carries who are like that, There's just some of them are just wired that
Yeah.
way.
Yeah, we did just recently watch Diablo play in that Ezreal Seraphine lane, which was very strange. I understood why he did it. The Ezreal damage was absolutely absurd, even if they weren't actually able to make that composition work, which was very
It
interesting.
almost sort of did. They like re-engineered it to work in a weird way, but
So we've sort of touched on a lot of teams in a bit of a smattering, but I do want to talk about Nongshim. Because this is the team that
number
has
one team.
the most wins in the LCK. I think the reason we're talking about KT so much is that they took down
Higher quality opponents.
the opposition that are likely going to be the best and the second best in the league come the end of the season. Although I guess anything is possible. But Nongshim coming off a 2-0 And they've got a fun week coming up as well, as their very first match next week is going to be against KT. And I think that's going to be a really, really fun test. Because if Nongshim are actually good now, then, I mean, they could actually just be 3-0.
Remember when Nongshim's roster was revealed? And we were
Yeah.
like, oh, Taeyun, I heard. I wasn't watching, but he was great in the LPL.
Yeah.
Scout's coming back. He's a high potential player. They still kept King in. And God, that Lehens guy, this guy's champion pool is massive, It could work. It's possible.
I love how we were like, oh, they've got Sponge, but I guess maybe he'll be fine. Sponge is
One
their
of the best
best player.
So I guess now, if Nongshim play like we thought they might, they're probably on par to get Legend, right? Like if they can continue at this pace.
I would think so.
They might win MSI.
I think it. I'm first blood pilled the counter, new blood pilled the counter that we had put out, but it was Scout to me.
Brand new rookie.
Yeah, brand
Yep.
new rookie Scout.
I hope he gets rookie
Watch
of the
it
year.
on the LCK channel. To me, it was he was performing below what we expected. He was performing kind of what he was doing last year in the LPL when things weren't going well.
I'm not going to lie to you. I was not expecting very much at all. He was, even when he came back and didn't look great, I was like, oh, pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
But he had flashes. He started bad, and then he had a couple games where he looked okay, but they didn't really translate it to series wins. But it felt close. And when we go back to the champ pool thing for Lehens down on the bottom side of the map, it was like, okay, Taeyun is, the boo meme. We boo memed it up, and I still think that's true. So now it's about, okay, can Scout hold serve in the mid lane and maybe try to find some edges so that Sponge can get going, and that you have at least someone that can pull pressure in Kingen. He didn't do so well today. Like, he pulled the pressure and then died. A lot of the time he pulls the pressure and then sneaks away, like he did in game 2. He got away from a lot of ganks, and I think that opens up avenues for Nongshim to play. But they did play kind of not strong teams in Kiwoom DRX and in the DN Automotive Supers.
I know we talked about like KT being the high variance team, but is Nongshim actually like I think of each player, and I actually think like the highs are like crazy high, but we have very recently, and I don't just mean the LCK Cup, but like the variance between the level they could be
Yeah.
and what they could be is like pretty large.
Yeah.
It's
Nongshim. I agree with you.
like each player, there's such a.
Kingen's all right. Kingen usually he does,
I
I
think
feel like
Kingen
there's-
is probably the least gap, but like I also think Kingen can like absolutely pop off like on a crazy level and have a bit of a stinker. But I do think there are more egregious members on the team.
Lehens.
Like,
and again,
literally
like
everyone else, yeah.
Yeah.
like
literally
again,
everyone
like I'm
else.
not being like they can do crazy things, but it's just like
Kingen's stability is not as strong as BDD's stability. You know
Yeah.
what you're getting with BDD, and he can carry 1v9 it. Kingen might 1v9 it, but he also might be the hole in the ship that you got to fix.
because
and
that's
you
the,
can't fix it.
even if like even when KT was on their rust streak, like BDD was still playing well. I like I could see this Nongshim, like they could honestly have like an unreal run. I wouldn't be like that surprised. They could tank it from here.
Oh yeah, they could get like 8th
Oh,
or 9th
yeah.
place. You're like, oh yeah, I guess so.
Both of those are with them like the realms of yeah, that checks.
My feeling is that, like, there are teams that are inconsistent that can turn on a dime, right? I feel like the turning circle of Nongshim is lower. I feel like the variance takes more time. That's what I feel like they're consistently moving down, and then they will move back up, and they'll stay up, and then they'll stay down and down and down.
D
Like,
plus on the other hand, like snap, like, they were great for 3
mid-series.
weeks. Worst team in the LCK in week
Yeah.
4, and you're like, oh, they might pop off though week 6. We'll
The
see.
DN Supers are my favorite example of this. Like, they can look incredible one day and then just hard crash and burn immediately afterwards. And obviously KT is exactly the same. But I mean, that's KT. We already knew. It's one of those things. So I'm looking forward to seeing whether Nongshim can stick the landing. And they have a KT matchup coming up, so they can put their money where their mouth is on Thursday next week.
And then a Saturday showdown against Kiwoom DRX.
Heck
I know I
yeah.
said earlier they
The
played
bounce
them.
back.
They played D plus Q. My bad. I just read the wrong name on the sheet.
Yeah, I think the KT one's going to be interesting. It's going to be a test. I think based on what we've seen so far, I expect KT to have the edge. But if they put up a good fight, at least, I mean, if they win it, crazy.
I mean, 100% winnable.
Yeah, if they put up a good fight, though, even if they lose, but they put up a good fight, like it's 2-1, close games, then it's a good look, and they should win that Saturday showdown.
Yeah, I'm really, not to shift gears too much, but looking at the next week's matches, I'm kind of like, do Hanwha go 0-2 next week?
That's
Like
where my eyes are going to.
That might be what I predict right now.
That-
The match against D plus is a little.
I'm feeling
tricky.
like D plus goes 0-2.
Well, I mean, they're definitely going to lose to Gen G. I think we can assume that pretty safely. But
I feel
That
like
Wednesday first game is actually going to be a huge deal for shaping what the standings are going to look like, to be honest.
I feel like the Friday match 2 one, the HLE B&K FearX, I think both those teams are just desperate for a win.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, B&K FearX having lost to G2, now 0-2 at the bottom of the table, they lose that one as well.
That's
and the
free
thing is,
fall.
playing against DNS on Sunday, like, I know DNS are just 1-1, but like they're not a pushover team. Like, if you're in bad form, if you're tilted, like they will beat you.
And that's only 2 days later. That's a roughie.
Yeah, so they definitely want to come out strong on that one. And I mean, HLE, especially if they've lost that Wednesday match against D+, that Friday match 2 is going to be very depressing for whoever
that's a
loses.
huge amount of variance in
I really,
Jeez.
this one's really tough for me to predict the Hanwha Life D plus because D plus also looked really bad.
Yeah, I have no idea. And I had a terrible prediction week in week 1. I really need to make up some ground.
Yeah, so my advice for you, Max, is you should do your predictions and then flip them. Because if you'd done that this week, you'd have had 6 out of 10.
True. That's
Got him.
perfect.
Got him.
Got him.
What do you mean? That's not a got him. That's just great advice.
Great. Got him. Great advice. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Great advice obtained.
Yeah, nailed it. All right. So, wait, is there any team that anyone would like to have more of a conversation about?
Degon, you're not allowed to talk about Bro anymore. We already did it.
We didn't talk about Loki.
I knew he was.
He's got such cool hair, man.
He's got cool hair. Degon loves that because he changes his hair every other day. And
I think one of
They're
the
matching right
players,
now.
one of the teams we actually didn't touch on, I think we've covered everyone else, is Kiwum DRX.
Correct.
Yeah, Kium DRX we did not talk about too much. I'm a little bit sad about Kium DRX.
that was
as
ominous, by the way. Like,
gigantic thunder happened at the time we were talking about
I'm not
it.
sure if you just saw all of our eyes look.
Yeah.
it's been kind of going on for a while, like the thunder in the background during this recording. So bear with us on that. if
Yeah,
you
we
guys
were
can hear
just
it, but
waiting for it to hit a climax, and then it was
the
Kiwum
Kiwum
DRX
was a
time.
little intense.
Okay, Max, continue, but tread carefully. Seems.
Yeah, I need to be a bit careful, otherwise God may smite me down.
Not on Easter.
Well, I mean, maybe Easter is the time. Maybe this is where he's paying the most attention. You know?
Yeah.
Didn't he revive his son today or something like that?
He did.
I
Holiest day
don't
of the
know.
year. All right.
I didn't read the book. Anyway,
Thank you for going with the bit. Appreciate all of you.
Bunny girls in the mid lane. All right, let's move on.
yeah,
Kiwum DRX. Kiwum DRX.
Yeah, Kiwum DRX, I was really interested in this team, and I actually predicted them. It's part of the reason why my predictions got completely cooked against DNS, because I thought that what Joker was doing with these players was actually really cool to see, and I thought with some extra time, it would have looked better. And in the end, it did not.
Yeah, so I don't really know how this week affects the Jiwooverse.
Yeah.
Because he looked real rough.
What about the lazy field?
But that's the thing. Like, Lazyfield took his spot. It's like he got removed from the family photo in the Jiwooverse. But then, supposedly, he was streaming and said that he was sick, which is a little bit weird because I think you're not supposed to stream during your game days, but maybe he didn't know that, or maybe
Well, maybe he
just-
was streaming at a different time and then someone just
yeah, it
reported
could have been. Yeah,
afterwards.
I was just scouring the KR community for what I could find, but ultimately, if he was sick when he played in their first matchup against DNS, that would make sense because he looked very out of sorts. And then, maybe they were like, okay, Lazyfield comes in, and since you can get your recovery, blah blah blah, and Lazyfield will be a nice sub. We're going to Vietnam soon. It all lines up. But he looked rough as well. So, like, I can't judge this team if Jiu is actually just sick and then we don't know, because he looked much better in LCK Cup, right? Like, we're like, oh, he's on track. He's looking a lot better. If he's just so sick that he can't play well and then Lazyfield comes in and it's just an emergency sub, like, did we learn anything about this team? I kind of feel like the answer is no. Like, Rich Hopefully he was sick as well. He didn't have
Yeah, Rich had the counter pick, and it did not work out. And that game one was I'll just say, I think it will be the roughest game of the year. That was my least favorite game of the week because you could have put anyone at bot lane. I could have played bot lane, and there was nothing you could do. Like, as much as Lazyfield gets subbed in, it just felt like before you know it, they're diving bot lane, they're down 7,000 gold. That was it. It was painful.
Maybe Rich is just an empath, and he was just like feeling Jiwoo's illness, and that's why he just wasn't able to lock in, right?
That's why he's such a good guy.
Yeah.
He's always there to understand your feelings. Beautiful.
Yeah, let's go with that. I feel bad because like Bro, they just got a huge sponsor, right? And like QM joins, they change the logo, stock's going up. They're right in the moment, like we might have to switch which side the arrow's on the logo. Might need to be on the one that goes down. And it's just a disastrous start against pretty weak strength of schedule.
Yep.
Like they played against D+, who don't even look that great, and they played against DNS, and they just they didn't even have a prayer in either game.
The DNS series was, I think, the most disappointing, and I think the D+ series, so many moments there felt winnable, and it just felt like they weren't willing to win. And that was the thing that was really depressing about that series.
Next
it
week,
felt like D+ kind of got that one gifted, even though they made a lot of mistakes.
Next week they're playing against Bro and Nongshim, and I feel like if you lose those and you're 0-4, and those are the teams you've lost against, you still have like T1 to play, you still have Gen G to play,
KT.
still have KT to play. Like, again, it's super early and you're not like mathematically locked, but like straight to Fry's group.
Oh,
like,
you're prizing real hard. Yeah.
Like it's you have to have such a massive uptick of form to escape that fate if you're going 0-4 against those teams.
And I think it's even worse is that then you start spiraling. And once you do get to the Fries group, you're the just bottom of the table, and then you're the punching bag.
And we saw that last year. We saw that with very talented, accomplished players in the DM Freaks, and they just couldn't get it together. They forgot how to win, especially against Bro. And with a team that looked so good in the LCK Cup, you don't want that to happen. And maybe it was, calling back the LCK Cup, Coach Voice. We talked about it. It was Joker doing the macroing of all five guys, but ultimately you have enough players there to make it happen. And
they have enough experience there as well to be able to make the right calls, right? Like there are a lot of like veterans on this team.
And if Willer's not the guy, then you put in Vincenzo, you get even younger, right? So it's just...
I'm waiting for it to happen. I know Willer has been having like a decent times, especially if you include the LCK Cup, but Vincenzo, man, like the guy's got some hands. It was fun to watch in the Kesper Cup. Like I was actually really excited to see this guy play. And it's just kind of sad that it's Willer that's next to him, who is actually a pretty good player. And it's not really the problems that are happening when the bottom lane is just such a mess at the moment.
Yeah, I agree with Ox, though. I think they'll have some time to like get some recovery in, kind of tighten up a little bit. But if they bomb next week, it's like it's done.
And they're staring down the barrel of a really depressing 0-4 start.
It look like if you go 0-4, you probably go 0-9, right? Like, I don't know if you beat anybody.
You go
else.
0-4 against these teams,
Yeah,
100%
that's what I'm
you're
saying,
going
like,
0-9.
That's the scary thing. Like, maybe you get an upset win and you didn't get undefeated, and like your biggest accomplishment in round one is you're like, we didn't lose to everyone, and that's that's rough. Especially when you just got the big sponsor, right? You just got the big money, and like you're trying to sell the idea of like, okay, look, our team's lower of the table, but we're a big contender. We won Worlds in 2022. We're trying to bring back glory. Thanks for the funding.
Yep. Worlds is back in NA. This is our time. We've got to go back there and reclaim our prize.
Also, I know I've mentioned this already on this Pog State, but like the round, we only have round 3 and 4, not round 5. So like, if you're at the bottom of the table and you get to Rise Group, you
doesn't
don't
reset.
It doesn't reset. You don't have many matches. You could just be like locked into last place. If you go like DM Freaks match record, you could just be done.
Yeah, the Freaks had so much more hope because the season was longer. There were more matches for them to try and catch up, and they weren't mathematically eliminated.
It was very painful for everyone.
It was.
We're like, wait, maybe this if they don't lose all of them, like maybe the.
The thing that can save the format is if we don't have a team that just gets completely bodied every single game, because otherwise, like, that's where the glaring weaknesses kind of start to occur.
Yeah.
And already Gen G's helping. They lost a match.
Exactly.
Thank
That
you.
was the overall beauty of this start of this week. It felt like anyone can beat anyone because
Yeah.
we
See-
don't trust Nongshim, we don't trust KT.
You say that, Max, but what if KT just go entirely undefeated during the...
Everyone gets first all pro.
You did really well
And
to
then
look
they
serious
win
at
the
the start of that
tournament.
sentence.
Thank
That was
you.
really
I've
good.
been practicing.
That was absolutely beautiful. All right, so now I think it's time to put our money where our mouths are, or our pens where our hands are, and onto this thing that says where the teams are going to go.
My pen is where my hand is.
There you go. Because now it's time for our overreaction predictions of what our Legend and Rise groups are going to look like. And good lord, do I have no idea where I'm putting most of my teams. I'm not going to lie. This is a roughy tough.
All right, I think our discussion about Kiwoom is making me feel like maybe they're in the bottom. Like like bro, a little bit convincing, when a little interesting
Little bit
game,
convincing?
little
Come on, man.
interesting game against Hanwha. Like actually kind of, like
Yeah.
I know Hanwha's really not great right now, but bro also kind of was like, hold on, like Kanavi's kind of inting. Let's see what we could do.
Yeah.
I kind of feel like bro's maybe not 10th. Maybe my overreaction here could be Kiwoom. I just said we didn't learn anything because maybe Jiwoo's sick, maybe Lazyfield just a bit of a emergency sub, but
we are
everything else.
overreacting.
But like Rich also, it wasn't great. UCal, we know the ceiling. I think.
I've got there's a really awkward thing that's happening here. I have locks, right? I have two teams that I know. I know that Kiwoom DRX is 10th place, and I know DK are 5th.
Wow.
I want to say DK are 5th, but I'm having a little struggle.
Oh, maybe
DK are
they're
either
6th.
5th or 7th.
Never
So-
mind, they're 6th.
My
DK is
process is I think the easiest thing is first to pool them into Legend and Rise. I think, for me, maybe you guys aren't doing that, but I think I'm going to pool them in Legend and Rise.
6th. That's a good move.
I was just putting teams in, but this all sounds good.
Legend and Rise them, and then you can kind of figure out where they're going to rank up there. Because I think, there's some teams that you just, based on what I've seen,
I think
You're
DK
in the
once
Fries
again
group.
just top of the Fries group.
that
Top of the
could
Fries.
well be.
They were the kings of the Fries group last time, and I think that's where they are again.
So I have a somewhat of a controversial potentially. I mean, I've been saying it all the time. I'm continuing to
Gen
double
G and
down
Fries
on it.
group? Wow,
No.
that's crazy.
Hanwha Life Esports in Rise Group.
Yeah, am I putting them 7th? That's what I'm trying to
I'm
work
trying to
out.
decide if they're. So for me, it's like they're 6th. I think.
Yeah.
Is D plus 5th or is Nongshim 5th? And it's like
Then where am I putting KT?
Where am I
Are they
putting
actually
Bro? Well-
good? What do we know?
Bro. I think is going 9th. Unfortunately.
What? We beat B&K.
Yeah, but
Convincingly.
Put it on
Yeah.
your own list.
did you see B&K series today against Gen G where they almost took a game off Gen G? Like
Yeah. I mean, Diablo was not Diabling until he shifted forward and almost won the fight, and then they got double cut.
I mean, look, they didn't almost beat Gen G to be fair, but they made an 8,000 gold lead look like it was playable.
You know what's come down to? I think I have 4 Legend, 4 Rise, and it's just I have 2 teams left, and it's just D plus HLE, which
just like KT
Yeah,
and
I mean
D
that's
plus
exactly
last
where
time.
I'm at, and I flip flopped, but I think 5th and 6th HLE D plus.
yeah, that's how I'm feeling.
But even then, the order of where T1 KT Nongshim go, that's really
Here's the
awkward.
thing. There's this weird feeling that's not based on logic as to why I put HLE 6 and not lower or maybe 5th. I think they have to be 6 specifically because I feel like there's going to be this really high pressure situation like what happened with D plus last year, where Han was expected by everyone to be. I mean, it's a super team. We've talked about this a lot. Everyone's like, no, they got to be in Legend. It'd be so crazy if they weren't in Legend. And then they're going to have this really critical match they have to win against DNS or something, and they're barely not going to get in. They're going to be 6th place. It's going to be the controversy. This team is just hounded by controversy all the time. I feel like this is just almost inevitable.
Honestly,
And I think they're going to 6th place.
even if we put them 6th, big glow up from 10th place. you
Is
know?
this
Yeah,
is
it's a
this
business level.
so? This is regular season, end of season standing.
This is the
Yeah,
end
so
of
this
round
is
4.
after, yeah.
End of round 4?
End of round 4. End of round 4.
Oh, so it doesn't even matter.
So that's why I think it's important to put it in
you have
Legend
to already
and Rise.
Legend and Rise them.
Yeah, so you've Legend Rised because they can't.
Because you could have a higher win rate than a
No.
Legend team.
Legend are top 5, then Rise is 6 to 10.
Right, so you could have a higher win rate by the end of round 4 than the bottom Rise group. Because we didn't have that last season.
Yeah, but
we didn't have that last season.
But it doesn't matter.
Right. Okay.
6th place is top of Rise group.
Yeah.
I've got it. The one thing that I'm confused about is FearX. That's the one thing that I'm like not sure about.
I have Genji first and Kiwoom last. That is all I have.
I think that's just the you start with that.
It's gross.
I think did you just plug Genji first, Kawoom DRX last, and then you work it in from there.
Do you guys want to see mine?
No,
I've
not yet. I'm
finished.
still working on mine.
Oh,
All I have left is whether or not Bro or DNS
Ooh.
are better.
Wait, Wolf, you got FearX sitting on 4th?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
Oh, that is crazy. You got a 7th place DK?
This guy believes in the year of Vikla.
Holy moly.
I'm really cooking, and you know what? I've like been Comic Sans to every season. I feel like so. I just I'm ready. I'm just ready to like
what?
actually really do it and not try to win the game, but actually use my brain.
I respect it.
I respect it too. And also,
It's
I
an
respect-
overreactions thing. Okay.
It looks very different to mine. I really did want to put KT in 5th in the end, but I just couldn't do it because I think the start to this season has been way too good. The fact that they don't need to beat like T1 and Gen G throughout this round is actually a huge deal. And so I think that like they're going to accidentally get a couple of extra wins and should remain pretty legend group top side. I felt like Wolf, you were like 8th and 9th were the ones that you were waiting on. Like they're the
No,
easiest.
fifth and 7th. Those at the end, yeah. Because
Yeah.
but those were not as hard to
Oh, you just
decide as
hadn't written them
Nongshim
down
D
yet.
plus. Nongshim D plus versus which side of Hanoi they're going to be on. That was like the trickier one. But then DNS Bro, I was like, it was the last thing that was left. But I knew they were going to be in those two, so I did them last.
You know what? You're back in the Friars group. I'm sorry, D+. It's where you belong.
Oh wait, hang on a second. Oh, you and I have exactly the same, Dan.
Wait, really?
Except KT and T1 are swapped for me. I put T1 up.
Oh,
That's it.
that's fairly valid.
Yeah, I think that. Wait,
He put Bro in 19th out of 10 team region.
what? You put Bro in the legend group, did you?
Genji, T1, KT, Hanwha, Bro, Nongshim, BNK, D+, the DN Automotive Supers, Kiwoom.
Wait, where did you put
So wait,
Nongshim?
hold on. So you guys
I
got
have
that on
Nongshim
tape, right?
6th.
Like you guys, the audio went through, right? So I can rip up his paper now
Wait,
and tell him he's an idiot. Right?
Wait. We're supposed to be overreacting. If you put Nongshim sick, did you even react to what we've seen so far?
Yeah, that's supposed to be an actual reaction, not just fantasy mode.
You know what? If we're doing that, just put Bro
It
first.
says
you know?
overreaction, not broverreaction.
Honestly,
Give
like,
Loki a season. Give Loki a full season here in the LCK.
Yeah, I will, and then I'll put him 5th.
yeah.
Not after, like, he hasn't had the season yet, Dagon.
He
He's
had
gonna
it
have
in
a
the
season.
BNK
I'll give
series.
him a
what?
season in
You know what?
9th,
You know what?
and
No,
then
guys,
I'll.
we're being unfair. Sell us on it, Dagon.
We've seen that if we get
How
the
many times do
Teddy
you think he's
win
going to use the
condition,
monikers?
we've seen the Teddy win condition work. They just didn't have a team to get to the Teddy win condition. And now you have someone in the mid lane who can hold their own and play like a professional because he had a season in the LCS on the best team with the highest pressure to perform and did so. And now they have that bridge. That is my hopium.
Okay, but speaking of LCS to LCK go pipeline, BNK FearX have Vikla, you know? Right?
I am the BNK hater. But
What?
the Raptor lover.
What's the difference?
Yeah, I was going to say that's a little weird.
What's the difference?
And like, you and I both have FearX in 7th, dude.
It's hater because we've seen how great they can be. That's the frustrating part, right?
Yeah.
It's the same thing with Perfect, right? That is why I get frustrated with Perfect as a top laner because he can be so good. he can be the best player in the league or the best top laner in the league.
So
10% of the time.
Sorry to interrupt just quickly. So your argument is this is a team who has a very viable 80 carry win con.
Yes.
And they have a former LCS mid laner who's come over the LCK. And you put BNK Fearex 7th and you put Bro in 5th.
Because that mid laner and that win con hasn't been playing well lately.
Since like a month ago.
Yeah.
Okay.
One of these teams got O2'd by 3'd by 3'd by LEC. One of these guys did not.
Bro has a ceiling, I think, with this roster.
Bro
I think
are
as
undefeated
everybody-
against G2 this year.
That's
a
actually very
good
true.
point.
As
Yeah.
the season goes on, I think Bro has a pretty big like a pretty low ceiling, unfortunately, which is why I ultimately decided to keep them at the bottom too.
And I get a swap later just in case.
Sure.
Wait, who did you put like right towards the bottom where you can swap them with?
D+.
Where do you put D+?
8th.
Okay, so that's like your safety swap.
Yeah, that's a safety swap, or maybe
Yeah,
I'm
I've
wrong.
got the Fearex in 7th that I can move up to 4th if Nongshim shit the bed.
Nice.
That's
nice.
what I'm thinking. Or up to 3rd in the KT, if the oxygen masks come down.
So
and
since
I have to...
The
I have to
Nongshim
figure
fade
it
is
out.
the scary one because of Scout. I think if Scout is consistent and again allows the other parts on his team to function, that to me might be like where I messed up.
Since Max and Ox have basically the same one, I'll tell you guys mine because mine's a little crazy one, right? Like I have Genji first and KT second, which Ox also has KT second, and then T1 third because I do think T1 will eventually figure it out. They'll be good enough to win against most teams most of the time, even if like they lose
I thought
to
they
some of the
looked
bottom
really good
teams.
against HLE, to be honest.
Like if they lose to a bottom team randomly because they ego draft, like that happens, right? I put BNK 4th because I do think that while there are overreactions to like their loss to Bro, for me like the overreaction is their pretty close games against Genji, especially that second game. I thought I was really impressed by that, and even though the draft was a little bit sussy, like they still played it well, and they looked really good in LCK Cup. So I'm kind of leaning on some of that momentum. And I think Nongshim is going to make Legend Group again. Over time, I think this roster has a lot of pre-built synergy. They're going to figure it out with Taeyoon. He looked much better already this week. And the Hanwha Life Esports, I've been saying it all year or all season long so far. They can't fix it. I don't think it's going to be fixed. I think the bar below like Hanwha for like they'll beat D+ most of the time, DNS Bro, Q them. Like I think they will beat those teams. It might be rocky here and there, like it was against Bro to a certain extent. But I think they'll be like D+ was last year. We're like, oh, too bad they couldn't figure it out enough to get into Legend. They think they're a Legend team, but they're not. Like, and that's where they go. Then it goes D+ underneath them because D+ also I feel like is proven consistently they can't figure it out. Then DNS Bro, Q them.
My D+ fear, because we didn't talk about D+ a ton, is that the days where you get a consistent BDD like performance out of Showmaker haven't been there now for a little while. This was happening at LCK Cup. We talked about it on last
Kespa
podcast.
Cup a little bit.
As the year goes on, Showmaker gets worse. It's happened for the last 3 years in a row.
And so it's happening a little bit earlier now. That's my fear for D+. If he writes it, then who knows? But you also have Career, who's still under an immense amount of stress and an immense amount of pressure. So those two things make me nervous for D+.
And I hate to say it, I think Smash hasn't really delivered so far. You know, I think he had a few great games in LCK Cup, but I haven't really felt like since Kespa Cup and the very early days of LCK Cup that he's lived up to the hype. And I was one of the guys who was really behind him. I was like super excited for Smash, and now I'm kind of thinking, yeah, he's a little bit held back by Careers, a little bit held back by the rest of his team, but I'm not as excited about him as I am for Diablo right now, of course.
My only thing with the Smash thing is I think there's other components of the team that are struggling, and often if the team systems are failing,
The AD carry can't work, yeah.
And I think Korea has been having a tough time adjusting some inconsistencies. Lucid's been invisible at times, and Showmaker's not been on. So I think it's hard for him, but I do agree with your point.
I hate talking about D+ because you have to mention potential. Like, this team has the potential to be great.
This is the CLG of the LCK.
Oh, yeah.
It's
and
you want to cheer for them. You love it when they do well, but like you're starting to get burned a little bit too much now.
what did you write?
He wrote everyone's predictions in, and then in Degon's sideways, he wrote absolute delusional nonsense instead of writing Degon's predictions in.
I mean, I don't think it's absolute.
Actually, wait, hold on.
I think just
sorry,
the bro,
I misspoke.
The
He
bro
wrote
position,
Degon's predictions in.
I think the bro prediction is like really dumb, but I think the rest of it is fine. I honestly think that like you can basically just have Gen G and QM DRX and then fill in the
whatever you
middle.
want.
Just
Yeah,
like
it was
paint the
hard.
rainbow
To be
and
fair,
it's fine.
I'm saying this. He's the prediction leader at the moment based on this
Yeah,
week,
I know.
So maybe he's cooking something up.
Yep.
I'm surprised you guys. When I wrote KT in a second, I thought everyone was going to be like, "No, KT is like 5th or 6th. We're not going to trust." I'm not interested.
I mean,
in
I put
believing
them
in this.
third, but I think that like honestly,
third, too.
T1 KT kind of interchangeable based on what we've seen so
But
far.
I didn't need it to be interchangeable if I need the bro bailout later. I was like, I got to decide now. Is it going to be T1 or is it going to be KT? Give me years of
Degon is
T1 being better.
crying so hard
Here we
right
go.
now. He's like literally mouthhousing. He's over here like, number one predictions
But
in
now-
week 1, and now I'm gonna
but the
min
thing
max
is,
my swaps.
He's overreacting to his week
He
one
wants to
prediction
be able to
outcome.
put bros somewhere so that he can easily swap them out into a real prediction.
He keeps grabbing
kind of
his
beautiful.
banana peel
I'm out
and
of
pulling it
banana
closer to the
ready to
table.
avoid it.
He's gonna try to make somebody slip. I think
I
he's
think
actually
the
gonna,
banana
he's
peel
gonna
being
cry.
there actually explains it. Like it's like Mario Kart. He slipped on the banana peel and bro fell in 5th. That's what kind of happened.
I think regarding the KT second thing, I think the way I view it is that, again, we're basing it on the form we've seen so far. If they maintain that form, there's not many teams that can match them. My assumption is that like Gen G and T1 are going to again be like the top dogs, but they already took them down in the first round robin. So
Yeah.
coming in the second round robin,
I mean, at best they can equalize the head-to-head.
And KT
Exactly.
beats Gen G all the time, so like I think they're in a pretty good spot to be top 2. Like,
Yeah.
The problem is,
mathematically.
like, KT also just drops random games to the DN Supers and stuff like that. Like, that could also happen. So
Yeah.
they can lose ground that way by sort of slipping up on the gimmies.
it's definitely possible.
And I
But,
think Gen G are a team that are just never going to lose to the bottom tier teams and stuff like that. Like, I think that's less likely to happen.
I just like to believe a little bit.
When
Yeah.
the meta shifts away from the ranged top laners, will Perfect be able to still do it? And I say that despite the fact that he got a solo kill. I think
He
it was
plays
on
a mean
Renekton.
Udyr.
It was the
What are you
Renekton
talking
that he did
about?
well.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
I mean, I think Perfect is. I think his champion pool's fine. I think it's exactly what Orc said. Like, this guy is just a momentum player. He's a guy that when he's feeling it, when he actually has the confidence. But as soon as he loses that confidence, and as soon as he starts like overthinking stuff, he's just dead weight.
There also have been a few examples of him being like, "I'm confident now," and then he just instantly gets Giga blasted.
Road to MSI.
Maybe that's like a
He's
sweet
like, "I
spot.
fixed every issue I have."
I'm ready to
Just
take
Yeah,
on
but like
Torin.
that's what happens.
Pow.
He gets overconfident and then immediately bombs, and you've got to catch him on like this specific part of the uptick.
Before he gets to the top of the roller coaster.
Yeah,
Maybe there's like
exactly.
a-
He is
there's like
riding
Like
it.
the KT railway.
There's like a sweet spot of confidence, right?
Right.
And being a world finalist was just like a little bit too much confidence. So LCK Cup reined it, and now he's right at the sweet spot. But it's gonna build up again.
It's going to build up and get out of control, and then it's just going
Yeah.
to crash and burn.
I think Effort was the one who pushed him to be confident again, just by playing really well in the bottom 2v2.
Watch them sub in Ghost next week. Like it's going to happen.
No, it's
really
not.
hope-
Some-
No,
I
it's
really
not.
hope
No,
not.
it's not.
I really hope not.
Something
would
super
make me
weird
so
is going to
sad.
happen.
See, I
Something
don't think they'll do
super
that
weird's
because
gonna
once
happen.
things started working with Peter, they did just stick with him. Apart from the time where he chose to like step away, they were just like, "Let's stick with Peter," even when things were going rough.
Do you
That's
guys
true.
have a prediction to who Bro is going to sign after round 2, like just randomly for no reason?
Croco.
Humbug
Welcome back,
again.
Croco.
Humbug's going to come back again from NA.
Are they going to sign like Dove in the top lane? Like, I'm just suddenly remembering players that like appeared and got hyped for 2
Remember,
seconds.
Lipa replaced Taeun.
Yeah.
And then,
yeah,
and
I
then
forgot
Taeun
about
left and went to WE and became good.
I wonder what happened to him. Oh yeah, he's back.
I'm trying not to watch.
Now he's back, and we weren't watching this week, I guess, because he actually had a really good week.
Speaking of birthdays, happy birthday, Prince. Today was Prince's birthday.
Aw, happy birthday, Prince.
Oh yeah.
All right. I think based on that, happy birthday, Prince. I don't want to like just
No, yeah.
cancel it out.
Yeah,
but if we're just
but he
wishing Prince happy birthday, we're probably finished.
Is it his birthday, or did he flip flop on his birthday and move it to a different date? You know.
Yeah, his
There we
flip-flop,
go.
his flip-flop of his birthday used to be like in June, but he's like, oh, it's pretty relevant now because I flip-flopped here and looked bad, so now they got to tell me it's my birthday and it's all okay. We love you, Prince.
Beautiful. Never change, Prince. Absolutely fantastic. Also brilliant in the content as well. If you guys watched our, what was it, the Kingtivity that we did.
The field day, the lane mates.
Yeah, Laymates, just building some synergy between all of the LCK talent, be it the global or the Korean side. It was a whole lot of fun. I'm not
the
looking forward.
global or the Korean side.
Yes,
Yeah.
as you were. And also, Dan had a really unfortunate incident with a shaver beforehand as well. So it was on the day that he didn't have his beard. Oh, it's just absolutely brilliant. It was called Lane Mates, the Desk Games 2026 LCK.
Yeah,
Hopefully that means there'll be a 2027
What's really
LCK
funny about
version.
that is that, like, the last time I was on camera, I had facial hair.
Yeah.
Recorded that, no facial hair. And we got the Gillette sponsorship. Why can't I talk?
Sponsorship.
Sponsorship.
Railway.
Sponsorship.
Got it.
Coming in as I had, like, the clean shave.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know.
Honestly, kind of perfect. We could just take footage from that, the Lane Mates, and then put the Gillette sponsorship on top
Oh
of
my
it.
God, I can do, like, the sunny thing he's doing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. And they also, like, they've got so many camera angles. They can probably make just glamour shots of just orcs walking around the basketball court.
Yeah, I definitely look glamorous.
Yeah, I mean, I thought you did. I was watching, okay?
Anyone ready to close the episode?
Yeah, we should probably do that. If you guys have some overreactions for the LCK for 2026, you let us know in the comments as well. Chuck us a like and all those subscribey stuff and things like that, because it really does help us show everyone that the Pog State is doing okay, and then we can make you more episodes. And we'd be really happy to do that because I like welcoming Poggers to the Pog State and stuff like that. So thank you very much for that. That'd be really cool. But for now, good night, and we'll see you in the next episode in a couple of weeks. Bye-bye.